I've just been looking for this lighter for the past 5 minutes. Pissed me off. By the way, this is CBD. This isn't THC. I'm not an advocate for any drugs. But if you are going to do anything, I'd probably smoke weed. It's probably the most healthy thing for you. Now, the video I'm making today has had me thinking for the past few days, and I'm driving back from the gym. I just went to hit chest and triceps, had a sauna, and I've been watching a lot of content from a guy called Clavicular. Anyone who doesn't know, he basically promotes Looksmaxxing. For anyone who doesn't know what Looksmaxxing is, it is basically maxing out your looks as much as you possibly can to improve your life, your dating life, etc. Now, I will say, of course, looks are important. Looking reasonably good, being in good shape is something that's always been important to me. I value the way I look. I like to smell good. I like to dress well. I like to be in the best shape I possibly can. I am an advocate for all of them things. I'm a fan of all of them things. But it comes to a point where you're taking it too far. It comes to a point where you're sacrificing years off your life just to look better. For example, steroids. Never touched a steroid in my life. I'll put a picture of my physique here. I'd like to say I'm still in reasonably good shape. One thing I've always had, or for the last probably 7 years, is spots. Something I'm trying to fix, but Accutane is the last option because there is health or side effects and risks to taking Accutane. I'm going to try some antibiotics first through the doctor. If they don't work, then maybe I'll eventually do Accutane. But again, I don't know the exact science behind it, but I think it shrinks your sweat glands and affects your hormones. You don't really want to be doing that, especially as a young man. Now, I've watched a lot of Clavicular content over the past few days, and he's obviously, I want to say, an intelligent guy, or definitely a charismatic guy, probably a lot more charismatic than me. But he's promoting things that are affecting children, people my age. I'm 24, a little bit younger, and I see it. I see it in the gym. I see it walking around. I've been training in a bodybuilding gym for the past 6 months. For the simple fact that in commercial gyms, there's a lot of people posing. There's a lot of people fucking about. There's girls doing like 20 sets on the Smith machine. It's not for me. I just trained in a commercial gym for the first time in like 6 months. Fucking pissed me off. It's a place just to dress nice and pose. It's not a place to train hard, in my opinion, although I did fucking train hard. But you look like a weirdo. You know, if you're making any noises, if you're grunting, if you're training hard, you stand out like a sore thumb. People aren't training hard in there, and they just look at you weird. But anyway, that's off topic. I see it when I walk around the gym, that the way that this content, not only from Clavicular, but from all these Looksmaxxing gurus, it's making guys simply focus on their looks. And there's probably a lot of guys in there. I saw a few guys, definitely younger than me, a lot bigger than me. Now, this isn't out of jealousy, but by the looks of it, a few of them are running steroids and they're like 17, 18. You can get in pretty fucking good shape. Yes, it will take more years, but you can get in pretty fucking good shape by not taking steroids. Like I showed in the picture before, I think I'm in reasonably good shape. I've trained honestly for 6 years, probably 6 to 7 years, and I've only eaten properly, counted calories, counted macros for the past 2 years properly. Okay, now I could have made a lot more gains if I'd counted calories and macros and fucking trained properly, progressively overload, trained severely hard. then I would have made a lot more progress in them 6 to 7 years. But I fucked about, I did a load of drugs, I drank a load of alcohol. And this is why I feel like I'm qualified to speak on this topic. By the way, this isn't a drug, this is CBD. If you don't know what CBD is, it's the non-psychoactive version of weed, of cannabis. You can search it online, you'll see what it is straight away. Like I was saying, I see it in these guys. There's a lot of guys, yes, they're focusing on their looks, but they're severely insecure. You don't gain all your value from your looks. Yes, I do think it's a big part. I do think you should take care of yourself. I do think you should go to the gym. Like I said, I'm a massive advocate for that, but taking it to the point of surgery and using steroids if you're not competing in bodybuilding, I think is taking it too far. The reason I felt the need to make this video is because there's a lot of young lads and they're looking up to like guys like Clavicular because he speaks very well. He's very confident in what he says. He's very sure on what he says, and that makes it a lot more believable in a sense. And I do think that he believes all the things he says, but this is not, I agree with the majority of what he says, but like bone smashing, taking steroids at 14, surgery, this is all too far. And I want to reiterate the fact that you don't only gain value from the world in the way you look. I mean, I'm so thankful that I've been in a long-term relationship for 7 years now. I'm not in the dating market, you know. This isn't something I have to deal with, and I'm thankful for that, because it looks fucked from what I see online, from what I hear. The dating market is cooked, but you don't only gain your value from the way you look. If you want an empty relationship, if you want a relationship which is only about looks and the value that you provide, you're gonna have a, let's say it's about just status or money and only the way you look, then your relationship's going to be extremely empty. It's going to be extremely cold. It will be extremely what's the word, just fake. There is more to life than the way you look, the money you have. Who actually are you as a person? What kind of morals do you have? What do you do behind closed doors? You know, that's a big question. When no one's watching, what are you actually doing? Because to me, that's what truly matters. Like I said, yes, looks of course matter. I went for a job interview today. Of course, I wanted to dress well. I wanted to smell good. I wanted to look smart. I had a haircut. I had a beard trim. Because first impressions do matter, but first impressions aren't the only thing what's going to carry a whole years of relationships, or a relationship, sorry. Looks isn't the only thing. In fact, that's probably the first thing. After that initial attraction, the looks aren't going to matter as much. But genuinely, I walked around the gym tonight and I saw these young lads, and yes, I want everyone to fucking look good. I want everyone to fucking feel confident, but I don't want lads walking around thinking that's all that matters. And truly on the inside, without all the external validation from the girls, the social media, from other lads in the gym, other guys in the gym, I want them to feel internally validated, not just externally validated. And this is something that I'm really going to try and teach on this channel a lot more. I'm someone who's always struggled with confidence, been insecure. I still have insecurities now. I mean, the spots, they're not as bad, but they can be a lot better. That's something that I don't enjoy, I don't like about myself, but I'm working on changing it. I was very skinny, I've worked on changing it. I was addicted to drugs and alcohol, I've worked on changing it. Like, look, as young lads, cool, go and enjoy yourself, go and drink without going out and drinking and doing what I did. I wouldn't have ever come out my shell. And when I say go and drink, I don't mean I recommend going to drink, but it will build you, it will make you a little bit more street smart, being out late at night. You'll understand now, when I walk into a club, I can feel if something's going to kick off, because I can feel the vibe, because I've been there so many times. So I'm not against going and experiencing different things, but I don't think guys should be throwing their life down the drain just for a look. Running steroids is a serious thing. Like taking Trent at fucking 15, 16, 17. Taking Trent at all, especially if you're not bodybuilding competitively, is completely fucking ridiculous. And look, if you do want to, if you genuinely are happy sacrificing years off your life to look a certain way for a shortened period of time, then so be it. Go do it. But taking advice from people who are 19 just because they look good is stupid. Like I said, I want everyone to be confident. I probably want to be more confident, but I don't want guys walking around thinking they have the world figured out when truly on the inside they're insecure. You can see it when someone walks. They may have this initial confidence, they walk with a little bit of a limp, they look confident, but I'm sure if you start speaking to them and digging down to their core, there's probably a lot more insecurities than even they realise. But yeah, I just felt the need to make that video. I guess the moral of the video is, for starters, do your fucking research. Don't take advice from a 19-year-old. Secondly, I would personally advise against throwing years of your life down the drain. And thirdly, have a little bit more substance than just your looks. If you're going off just your looks, you're going to attract people who only really care about the way you look. They don't care about who you are on the inside. That's not going to create, if you want it, a relationship of longevity, a long-term relationship. Guys, I hope that helped you. I didn't want to rant too much, but I felt the need to get it out. And yeah, I'll probably start putting more content out around actually having substance and building confidence internally rather than using drugs, alcohol and PEDs to gain external validation. Appreciate you all, guys.